Okay, so let's have a look at the ec2 commands that we can use. So again, we've installed it into a Linux image, and there's a little bit of setup for this one. So we do sudo apt-get install ec2 API tools, and then once that is installed, then what we've got to do is we've got to take the certificates, the certificate with the key pair on it, and also the private key, and put them into files. So in this case, I've taken the private key .pem file and then pasted it into here. And for the cert file, which is downloaded from our system, if we just find the key pair, okay, so here is one key, and here is the other key. So that's the certificate and that's the key. So then we can modify the bash startup shell now to make sure that we have these certificates and keys. So we can see here, there is where we define the private key and the certificate to give us the key pair. So these will be used to authenticate us to Amazon. We can then do a source on that, so that runs it through, and our environment variables should now be set. After this, then we can now use the the ec2 tools. So let's say that we'll have a look at all the available images. These are the AMIs that we could instantiate. It just takes a little minute for this to come through. So I think there's several thousand of these on the system. We could also use the -o option and just look for certain owners, but it should come through in a little minute. It just takes a little while to process all the available images that we have. Okay, so here they are. So with these AMIs, we could then instantiate an actual instance from one of these. So these are some of the examples. So we can see there's Ubuntu images, and we should also see some Windows images, and so on. So we can look at a certain owner. So in this case, these are AMI images from Amazon. Okay, so there's some Windows ones. There is some Fedora, some WebSphere, and so on. Okay, so some of the other commands, we can use all the ec2 commands that we want. Just takes a little minute to run. So we can see here, as we've seen before, with our login from the site. So if we just go back to our Amazon, so these show some of the commands that we can actually use. So we'll just log in over here. And what we see here should match up to what we have in our account. Okay, so here we are with our ec2 account. have a look at our instances, and we see here that we have an instance of I0D89 and so on. So we can see here that through the ec2 commands we can actually see the AMI ID, the instance, where the data center is, and we can see here it's actually stopped. So what we'll do is we'll just select that one, and then we'll actually start it up. Just takes a little minute to start. Just pending just now. Run our command again, and hopefully we should be able to see that it's now starting up. Okay, so it's pending, as we can see here, and obviously starting up the image. It should get there in a little minute. Have a look to see how it's getting on. Okay, so it's now running. So we can stop the instance here. We can invoke a new instance if we require, using the ec2 tools. And we just have a look to see if we can find the commands that we can use. So here's a full list of typical commands that we can actually set up, and one of them is the run, ec2 run instances, and in that way we can actually take an AMI and actually run it as an instance from these tools. Okay, so this has given a brief introduction to how to install ec2 API tools into Linux.